Welcome to Community Cocktails with Kimberly, hosted by Kimberly Woodard, a realtor who's been selling homes in North Texas with more than 21 years of experience. Join her every first and third Wednesday of the month as she meets with top community leaders, local businesses, and real estate industry experts to help you get to know the area you want to call home. Don't just love your home, love your community. And now your host, Kimberly Woodard.
Welcome, viewers, to this episode of Community Cocktails with Kimberly. I'm so thrilled about this episode. I have a wealth of knowledge here about fitness and lifestyle, and let's do a fresh start of the new year with Andrea, fitness expert for 32 years here. And she's the CEO and founder of And Life. Welcome.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here.
I'm so thrilled.
Yeah.
Looking at your site, I was doing some background research on you, and you have such a great approach that I don't think people have ever really looked at to really building your lifestyle and fitness. Instead of everyone's always the new year, they're saying, oh, I want to lose weight, and then they maybe do, and then they put on, they lose 2, they put on 5, and they just say, forget this.
Right.
Where you have an approach that really it really goes into a lifestyle change.
Absolutely. It's the only way to do it for the long term.
Yes.
It's funny, and you have to understand, I come about this so honestly.
Yeah.
The first 16 years of my career, I did everything you and everybody thinks they need to do.
Right.
To be super fit. You know,
Yes.
what I learned, which was calorie counting, grueling workouts. It's all about what you can't do.
Right.
It's actually working from a negative, right? You're
Yeah.
always like, I want to lose weight. It's about lack. It's about where I don't measure up, even in my own mind, right?
Right.
And I realized, wow, this does not work for me or anybody. I mean, and it was really demoralizing professionally and personally. I'm doing everything. It's like all the clients who come to me now and they're like, I'm doing everything right and I can't lose a pound or I can't. And I want to tell you, if I white knuckled it, I could get sort of where I wanted to be, but not even to my own goals. And then I thought, oh my gosh, there has to be a better way. And what I developed was a way that embraces your social life, looks at your life really realistically, and it's a very individual approach to fitness and well-being, your approach to food, your approach to exercise.
Yes.
And less is more, and it's about adopting habits that you can be extremely consistent at that are beneficial, and then lo and behold, and it's also about stress management. And if you get that in gear, then guess what? Everything else falls into place.
Well, look at you've developed 5 principles to really, get yourself started and, fulfill and put you on this lifestyle change. So let's dive into those principles. Sure. So you have the first one as practice personal authenticity.
Yeah.
I cannot talk today. I mean, my words have just been
all good.
So
practice personal authenticity is the beginning of this. It's really about who you are and kind of creating a lane in life where you're going to be at your best.
Okay.
And what that does is 2 things for you. Is it gives you clarity of purpose. So when people are like, I want to lose 5 pounds or I want to whatever, well, if you don't know the why of that, then it's about lack. It's about, I don't measure up. It's about you comparing yourself to other people. And that will never, ever deliver you long-term results. But if you need to be fit and strong and feel your best and have energy all day long, for a reason, and you know what that is and you're clear about that, those will be lasting results. And so in practice personal authenticity, I give people an exercise to help them be very clear about who they are and who they're not. And not in terms of adjectives, but in terms of what energizes you.
Right.
So if you look at your life, a through line of your life, the things that made you happiest and felt most you and where you were at your best, those were, there's something that's a theme between all those things and you know what they are, so I help people define what that is, who they are, and then who you're not. It's what saps the energy out of you. What makes you, what do you dread? And when we kind of eliminate those things unless it's an absolute obligation or responsibility. And we like try to always be honoring the things that really build the most energy in us, that we look the most forward to.
Right.
What we do is we find that we're living in a way where we have more time and we have more energy.
Wow.
And when you have more time and energy, then you are available to take care of yourself. The number one thing I hear from my clients, and I do physical and mental well-being for busy professionals mostly,
Right.
is that that's no time. And by the way, busy professional can be a homemaker. Like that is running a home is a profession, and the juggle is insane.
You're juggling so many hats.
Prioritizing yourself becomes a problem. And so personal authenticity is about creating the space and the energy to prioritize yourself.
Well, I love what you said in that. And I think, we do so many times, put ourselves and judge us against other people, really where we need to look at ourselves.
Totally.
This next one is number 2, live the rule of awesome.
Yeah. The rule of awesome is my number one top game-changing life strategy. Everybody watching this can start it right now.
Yes.
It's going to level up your life right now. So, I'm spoiler alert, my next book is about this. It's unbelievable how this one, I've been doing this with people for 7 years now. And this is the number one thing that people are like, wow,
Yeah.
So the rule of awesome is very simple. If it's not awesome, don't do it.
Okay.
It sounds really flip, but let me apply this to some things. So with my clients, I have them, we don't eliminate any foods. We do not count calories. We don't count macros. We don't do anything like that. And we do not eliminate any foods.
Okay.
The rule is, like when you're out socially or wherever, you take a bite of something. If it is not awesome, you don't finish it. If it's a brownie, somebody offers you a brownie, you wrap it in a napkin and you chuck it, or you give it to a child, they'll eat anything. But you're going to start to live a 5-star existence. Every choice we make is like a message to ourself of our own self-worth. Okay. And if all the choices you make start to be up-leveled, like, no, I'm only going to allow awesome into my life, then you start to up-level mentally and you lose weight physically in terms of the food. But I have people do this with their clothes. Like, go through your closet. Think about this. When you're pulling things out, you put it on, you go, and that pile starts to create on the bed of, well, that's in 5 pounds that I used to be able to wear. I can't now. Those are like soul-sucking things. They pull your energy. What you want to do is go through your closet and anything where, and you might not feel like you totally look awesome, but the litmus test is, does it generate energy? Does it make you feel strong and powerful? That's awesome.
Yes.
If you feel strong and confident and powerful, you keep those items. The rest you give away, which will make you feel really good. Right. Or, and when you go to your closet, it's just a matter of shape and color. Not you can pick anything because you have fewer things, but they all make you feel strong and capable and confident. Your outside matches what you have going on up here. That helps you up level in the day. That energizes you. Oh. And the last thing is with you can apply it to the invitations you accept.
Yeah.
Are they awesome? I don't want to go to the candle party. I don't want to sit around and pretend I'm interested in the candles you're selling and buy. No, if I need some candles, I'll go get some. Like, it's just, for me, it's not the kind of way I want to spend my social time or whatever. It's not awesome. But for me, great. That's one I can check off the list as, I'm not going to do that. I just bought myself 2 hours of time to go do something that is actually deeply fulfilling for me. So rather than just blindly saying yes to things, you start exercising no thank you, or, and it's just to carve yourself time. It's what is awesome use of your time. Rule of awesome.
I love that. And I am going to start applying that.
Immediately.
I always feel like I overcommit.
You're going to send me a text in 2 days and go, oh my goodness, I was at a restaurant and I was eating whatever and it wasn't awesome, so I left it and I wasn't bloated the next day.
I did not force myself to eat it.
Right. You'll love it.
Well, number 3, strategize habits.
So this is actually what I do with people in my Shape Up Body and Mind one-on-one program. Okay. These are the beneficial habits in terms of food, exercise, and mental well-being you get in your life, and they up-level you every day. They generate your energy for you every day. They have you feeling your best all the time. And the thing is, the anatomy of a habit is it has to be an easily repeatable pattern followed by reward. So that's where doing my program helps, because being in touch with me is the reward. Using my app and the bars coming across and you got a green today. Like that's things like that, the little things. But here's the key. Easily repeatable pattern. The strategies have to be small. So in my program, we focus on meals you don't share. The ones you kind of grab for breakfast, just snacks, eating on lunch. If you make those highly beneficial and simple, like the recipes, I use air quotes, I give people, like this is not Giada on the Food Network. This is Busy Professionals. What are 3 things I can throw in a pan or a jar and I eat in my car as I drive? I mean, that's how we live, right?
Oh, definitely.
But they're delicious. You look forward to eating them. If that's rewarding, that's awesome, right? So if you strategize that, like, here are the 2 things I'm eating for breakfast this week, this or this. I love them both, or my snacks are the hardest part for people, this or this. If you eat on a schedule your body can count on, so you have even energy. If we know what portions of food work for you, we figure this out for every person to keep your energy even. So you have the same energy for your personal time at night and your family, the best self of you give to all these people all day at work. You have that same best self to offer at home. Life starts to be awesome, right?
Love it.
And like exercise, it does not have to be an hour. Our bar is 20 minutes a day, and it doesn't have to be all at once. It can be a lot of things. This has been my biggest discovery. And as a trainer for 32 years, exercise truly is my gift. But guess what? It's this much of the equation. So you have an active lifestyle, and you complement it with strategic exercise for strength, flexibility, and the physical effect you want, but you make it doable. The litmus test for all these things is, does it generate energy? Does it bring you joy? And is it as easy as brushing your teeth? Because think about it, no matter how stressed out you are in life, you're always going to brush your teeth.
Right.
There is an immediate benefit to that. It is pleasurable, but like, think about it. So if the little strategies you get in place in terms of the foods you don't share that you're eating on the run, in terms of exercise, are things that are that small and doable, and they make you feel good, like immediately, but it wasn't too much, not your exercise isn't like leave it out on the field, like not that, but that you can maintain it. Guess what? You can stay consistent. This is going to feel better. This is going to look better. And it doesn't feel like you're doing anything. You're just living a good lifestyle.
Oh, I love it. All right. Well, then that brings us to number 4.
Right.
Developing opposition stability.
So this is really interesting. Opposition, stress management is huge. The X factor in whether you are going to be able to do your job at your best in any given day, show up at your best self, as your best self for the people in your life who matter any given day, and be able to show up for you any given day is stress.
Right.
Is circumstances you did not choose. The things in your schedule you did not control, the stuff you did not expect. Generally, it's stuff that's a challenge. What am I going to, okay.
Right.
So training your brain to be less responsive hormonally to stress is the key, because when your brain is triggered, it releases adrenaline and cortisol. Cortisol slows down, your metabolism stuff, so that, in cave people days, it's so you could run from a lion, right?
Right.
But now it's really about, and then the adrenaline would allow you to run from that lion.
Yes.
In this day and age, this isn't helpful. Nobody needs their metabolism any slower. No. I mean, and then in terms of the adrenaline, what the adrenaline's doing is, if you're focused on work, good, you power through work, great. But what it's actually doing is then there's too much in your system, and it's energizing your worries.
Okay.
So it's energizing, you're going to start spinning.
Yes.
And then the other thing is, because we're all enormously bad at being uncomfortable, now it's energizing soothing behaviors, eating, numbing, in front, what we want to do is develop strategies to be able to handle opposition in our life with grace and with a sense of embracing it, rather than so that our brain isn't set off, so that we stay at a hormonal advantage. And like, there's a gazillion strategies I do with it. I can give you one. You want one?
Yes, I want one. I want one.
Here's one.
I want one.
Here's a classic. So in Pilates, and this is where I get the term oppositional. So in Pilates, I teach every form of exercise there is.
Yes.
If you want to bend to the right, you don't think about bending the right. What you do is you push the opposite foot into the floor. You pull this rib cage to the left, and then you bend to the right. Look, my spine stayed in the same place. So my body's bending. I can go further without falling over. I do this to people in live events and stuff.
Right.
I tell them to bend. They start to bend, they're going to fall over. But they do it with oppositional stability, which means pushing on the other side. Pull this the other way, and then they go over, they bend further, and they don't fall. They're stable.
Okay.
So think about this in a conversation with your partner. You're disagreeing.
Yes.
Right? So your partner is throwing all this stuff at you. This is not what you want to do. This is not your point. And in fact, he or she is wrong. They're just wrong. Okay. But what we do is we agree. We do the opposite. You look for anything in that conversation, anything you can possibly agree with. You start there. I see your point about this. I see your point about that. You agree with everything you possibly can. Why? Because it puts you both at a hormonal advantage. They feel heard. So that amygdala in your brain, the fear and anxiety center, sending out adrenaline and cortisol, stops. It's less triggered. It slows down. Serotonin is given off. Connection. Serotonin comes from, in this conversation, we have serotonin flowing because we're chatting and we're, agreeing with each other. They feel heard, and that releases a hormone. It's one of your happy hormones.
Okay.
It bonds them to you. Dopamine, they feel heard. They feel like they've accomplished something, right?
Okay.
And now it tells your central nervous system to drop a notch. There's something called Gaucher's reaction. People mirror each other. So by you being agreeable, they can't help but be agreeable back. By you giving them this energy of, I see your point first. And you might not entirely, but you're trying to. You keep that inside.
Yeah.
But if you do that, you're both down a level. And then when you say, so I see your point, and here are the other things that I think we should consider.
Right.
And now they are not in a defensive place. They're in a more agreeable place. They're mirroring you, whether or not they realize they did that. And then you're either more likely to get to an agreement or likely to be able to say, well, why don't we revisit this later? I hear you. Let me just go think about it for a little bit. And I just kind of want to think about your side of things a little bit more. And maybe you can think about where I'm coming from, and let's come back in a couple hours. I mean, it's a great way to live, but most importantly for me with my clients, because I want results, is they're not stressed.
Right.
They're not throwing out those hormones that then make them soothe, make them uncomfortable, make them spin. And then they're eating in front of Netflix or just scrolling. And then the scrolling, of course, what are we doing? First thing you mentioned, the compare game.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing things that make us feel worse.
Okay. I love that tip, and I am going to be using that. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Good stuff, right? All right. So our last principle is allow in the extraordinary.
Allow in the extraordinary. Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the thing. We want to live what I call a fulfillment lifestyle. Be happy now. Be fulfilled now. Not when this and if that, whatever. And this is it. I've had to learn, I come by all this honestly. These are all the things I use to save myself.
But no, I love this point, because I feel like people are always like, oh, waiting. Well, I mean, I hate to be like a Debbie Downer, but life's too short
Totally.
to, always be, down in the dumps on everything. You should, live for today.
Yeah. And so what happens is life has these obvious milestones when we're younger. There's like high school, college, if you do that, or some kind of advanced whatever, you start working and your professional life starts to happen and you level up in that. And then maybe you partner up with somebody, and maybe you get married or have a family. Maybe there's a first home or whatever, you go out on. There's these obvious milestones. And then we just start to live the hamster wheel of responsibilities and obligations. And so I have people fill out this thing, like it's in my book, The Way In. It's your life list. And life list is about being happy now. Like we ask, if time and money were no object, what would you be doing? What would you be doing right now? And if you start to put that in your head, there's a manifestation that starts to happen if you visit this. But also there's other things, so that when you're stressed, like, what's a 20-minute thing that never gets done? And when you have a list of that, so when life is happening to you and you're feeling stressed out and you want to soothe, instead of doing that, you go do one of those 20-minute things. Doing things with our hands instantly, without getting too neurological, we activate our prefrontal cortex or hippocampus or cerebellum. These are positive brain centers. When they're going, guess what can't be happening? The worry center. And so just cleaning out your sock drawer instantly snaps you out, because there's logic involved and whatever. It's just like little things like that, or just doing 30 squats, just in 1 minute, what that takes and the oxygenation in your body and your brain that happens, just doing 30 squats in 1 minute. You can't be in the same place. It's like it helps you be happy right now. And then the other thing is that you try to figure out, what are some skills I want to learn? What are some things I wish I knew more about? And we help people go through this process so that life is forward moving, not just in terms of making money and living up to your responsibilities, but for you to keep growing and expanding. Yes. This brings us back to why. Why do I need to be in shape? What is it I want to do with this strong body? Like, what do I want to live a long time, really, in a really healthy way for? And by helping us keep expanding and keep activating curiosity, just like when we were kids, and kids, the whole, you're in high school and life's ahead of you and you can't wait to move out and move on. We have to keep that feeling going as adults. That's where motivation comes from, clear purpose. Motivation to work out isn't from, scrolling and wanting to look better compared to this person or that person. Real motivation that lasts come from knowing what you want to feel strong and capable at your best for, and having those things present in your mind. Allowing in the extraordinary. What's your extraordinary?
Well, I have learned so much. That is wonderful. And I know my viewers we're going to have all your information here. They can click on your website, go to your TikTok. I know we were talking, you have lots of information there. I am so inspired and ready to start the rest of 2024 off to a great start. Cheers to 2024 and new lifestyle.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple and Spotify, as well as Kimberly's YouTube channel. If you'd like to contact Kimberly directly, you can email her at kimberlywoodard@ebby.com or call 214-632-2092. We hope you enjoyed our guest this week. And remember, don't just love your home, love your community.